Hello and welcome back to another reaction. In this occasion, One Punch Man Season 2 Episode 1. Yes, I can barely contain my excitement. This is something I have been waiting for, I think, 8 years? 8 years. No, I think that is an exaggeration. Well, it felt like 8 years. I think it was more like 4 years without One Punch Man, without watching another season, without watching any other episode of One Punch Man. So yeah, it's been such a long time since I watched anything new about One Punch Man. Boy, it is exciting, man. It's genuinely exciting. Um, Obviously, I need to say something before I start the recording of the episode. I am quite up to date with the manga. So yeah, it's not going to be a complete blind reaction for me. It's just that I know what is going to happen. I know what is going to be going on in the series. There isn't going to be any surprise for me. Honestly, I'm just here to the journey to see what I saw in the manga and to see it translated into the screen. And yes, hopefully this is going to be great. Hopefully this is going to be not disappointing for all the changes that were on the production staff of One Punch Man. Yes, I actually did a video about that, and yeah, I think by this moment it's already up. So yeah, if you want to check it out, there is a link in the description below. It's not a reaction. It's a review of One Punch Man, more of a history of One Punch Man more than a review. But yeah, if you're interested, the link is in the description below. I decided to just upload it to BitChute. Hopefully there is not going to be any problems there, because yes, I use material from the series and I don't want to be annoyed by a copyright strike or some bullcrap like that. If I can upload it on YouTube, I'm gonna put it in the description below too. But yeah, if you want to check that out, go ahead. And yes, without further ado, because I'm just so eager to watch this episode, let's just cut all of this presentation and watch the episode, shall we? Okay, I'm back. I just watched a second time the first episode of the second season. And yes, it is still weird for me to say that, because it takes so much time for the production of the second season that I was losing hope into if ever appear in this in this year or in my lifetime. So yeah, I was really saying, oh, they are not going to release it, it's not in production, etc, etc. But no, it actually came out, and I think I did a little bit of exaggeration. I think it's just 4 years since the last season, the last episode. I think it came out in 2015. So yeah, it's a little bit longer than 3 years. It's not the 4 years, but it is still a long time for us to wait. I'm not saying this is the longest that anybody has to wait for an anime. If I remember correctly, sorry, Berserk took a sweet ass time for it to release. And yes, it was a complete piece of garbage. The new one in the 2016 is garbage, man. Anyway, we're not dealing in that awful territory. Now, the episode, of course. As I said during the intro of this video, I have read the manga. I have the manga in my room, actually, so I am really up to date with that. And I know what is going to happen. I know most of the characters. I know their how they behave. So yeah, there is not going to be much of a surprise for me. Actually, the point of watching this is to see how the animation works. I will be purely concentrated on the animation because the story is something I already know. I knew from the beginning that how King really was. I knew from the beginning that we were going to see Fubuki and all of these people we were going to see. So yes, the opening is a complete no surprise for me. That doesn't change the fact that I was so hyped for the animation. I was so hyped to see the voices, to hear the voices that were going to be given to these characters. I was so hyped to see how they are going to develop the fights, because yes, that is an important part of the One Punch Man, history. I know, not history, part of the structure of One Punch Man. Yeah, I know I sound way too technical, but yeah, that is the correct way of describing it. But yeah, we start with the scene, of course, with the action figures. In this case of King, the strongest man alive. Obviously, we know that it's a lie. Even if you didn't see the manga, if you didn't read the manga, you knew that was fake. We know that Saitama has the title. But still, all the action figures and kind of the normal life of Saitama in the beginning. And of course, we find our first enemy, a giant robot. And of course, oh no, I'm sorry, I forgot about the freaking lizard. Yes, how could I? Oh yes, it's so memorable. But yeah, this lizard, of course, is terrified of King, because yes, in this moment, we hear the King engine and all the power that King possesses. And yes, he's so strong and powerful, so he's going to deal with this scum in seconds. So yeah, he's so terrified of King that he just surrendered himself, because he believes all this aura is of an unbelievable killing machine. And then of course we arrive with the robot, the real threat. This guy was designed to check the power of King, to see how powerful King was. So yeah, it was one of his targets. But King does something ridiculous, especially for somebody as powerful as him, or as powerful as he's supposed to be. So he just say, "Oh, but I need to take a crap." You know, yeah, I would not be able to to fight as the 100% of my power if I don't take a crap. And yeah, it's kind of weird. Say, okay, what is the deal with this guy? Why he should care about what the machine wants? He just destroy it and that's it. But of course, we later figured out that actually King is not strong at all. He is just, in his own words, a loser, an otaku loser that just wants to play games and live the easy life because he doesn't even have a job. Obviously, he has money for all of this because, well, the Hero Association pays him, well, because he's an S-rank hero, so yeah. But in this moment, we discover the true personality of King. He's terrified of enemies, and he has such a bad luck that he encounters terrible monsters in, well, I'm not going to say every day, but very often, at least more often than the average citizen. But he always got lucky because somebody else destroys the monsters, and everybody believed that he was the one who, well, killed the monster. So yeah, that's why he ascended so quickly to the S-rank hero, to the number 7 even. So yeah, it's a pretty high-ranking hero. Again, it is funny, the juxtaposition of these two ideas: the strongest man alive, and of course the weak King. That how he really is. It's kind of funny, especially the faces, because again, I love the voice that they gave to King. Very deep, very aggressive, but perhaps not aggressive. Very intimidating, I think is the correct word, when he's speaking in this deep voice. But when he's terrified, his voice just goes higher and higher and higher. Yeah, it sounds ridiculous. Again, he knows that he's weak. He knows that, and he just ran away from the problem. Luckily for the people that are in this place, Genos was there alongside with Saitama, of course, and start fight. And I mean, Genos starts to fight in this case. I am not going to speak about the animation. I'm going to do that in the end. But anyway, they fight and they have a cute fight. Well, not cute, cool fight. And yeah, it's kind of spectacular. The different textures of the metal, I really enjoy that little aspect. Anyway, yeah, we saw, of course, the purchase that King did before. That is kind of a girlish game. But that is not the important part in here, of course. The robot starts to attack, or Saitama. Genos and the robot start to fight, and of course, Genos is refusing the help because, well, he wants to prove himself to his master that he is actually capable of dealing with this threat. Of course, we end up following King. We enter his apartment and we enter alongside with Saitama because Saitama is there just when he put up the freaking game and he was so excited to play. And yes, it's pretty funny the way the freaking girl in the game is just this hilariously ridiculous hair. And yeah, we have a little chat between Saitama and King in which kind of Saitama is very pushy. That's, oh, let's play. Or do you have action games? Or do you have this one? Because obviously King should not be playing such girly games. So yeah, it's kind of ridiculous, even though, of course, King knows that he'll rank this guy, but obviously, this guy, Saitama. But obviously, it's kind of shocking to see him entering so casually, and I mean Saitama, to this apartment. King doesn't understand it to this point and kind of is dealing more, well, in a weird way, because yeah, Saitama wants to play that game. Anyway, that is not the main point of this scene. Of course, we return to a little bit of action, and yes, I love the frame they use in this one. When we saw kind of the lava, my guess is melted metal, coming out of the roll. This is one of my favorite frames of the manga of this chapter, and it looks pretty cool. Good and cool. Okay. It looks pretty cool, and I really like that little bit of animation. And we discovered, of course, that the real threat is not the giant robot, but the robot that is inside of this kind of arm, or the real threat. But we return to the chat between Saitama and King, and they are playing, they are enjoying, and this is when the real purpose of the visit for Saitama is revealed, that he wants to know why King didn't fight against this monster, against this robot. And my guess at the beginning, Saitama thought that King was so powerful that he got bored of fights, just like him. Because yeah, everybody believes that he is the strongest and all of that. Obviously, by this moment, we know that isn't the case, that he is actually pretty weak. And of course, the chat is interrupted by a giant crow, and this is attacking kind of the building. Yes, this is one of the tropes of the anime, that yes, King actually kind of attracts a lot of monsters, a lot of threats without being strong. And of course, we saw that Saitama is just holding the bird like it's nothing, because yes, for Saitama it's literally nothing. And this is when we intermix the fight of the robot against Genos, and of course the moment of terrifying fear in King's face. And this is when we figure it out, or a lot of the people figure it out if you haven't seen the manga, is that actually the one who has been defeating all the monsters that King supposed to destroy was actually Saitama, was actually the One Punch Man. And yeah, it is... This is the moment of the revelation, not just for us, but for King too, because he discovered that actually Saitama saved him before. The scar that King has on his face is thanks to a weak monster. I don't think it was even level Tiger. Perhaps it was level Tiger, or I don't think it was level Demon or Dragon or anything like that. It was a pretty weak monster. And of course Saitama saved King in the past, and he has been saving it a lot in the future, of course. Well, future from that moment, because yes, we saw Saitama with hair, so that means his training is still not complete. And of course we saw a hurt Saitama, a weird side, because yeah, it's been such a long time since Saitama could get hurt. And yeah, in this moment, of course, King confessed that he is actually not strong. Saitama hear him, even though we didn't, thanks to the commotion that was around them, the destruction of this giant monster. But of course Saitama hears him, and he knows that he has been taking credit for all his victories. And instead of reacting like a madman, like, oh you bastard, you cheat me of my power, of my status, no, Saitama is a lot calmer and say, okay, yeah, it's okay, it doesn't matter, I did that because I wanted to do that. I wanted to save people, not to gain recognition. Of course, Saitama would love to get recognition, but this is an aspect I love about him, that yes, If you get recognized, that is fine. If people recognize your power, that is fine. But he's not actively looking for that. He's not actively looking to, oh, look at me, I destroy everything. That is an amazing trait of Saitama's personality. And of course, again, instead of saying that, no, he said, okay, do you want to be a hero? Saitama said this to King. Do you want to be a hero? You need to get strong. I'm not going to tell everybody, I'm not going to tell you to tell the rest of the world that yes, it was actually me. So yeah, it's okay, but you need to get really strong if you want to become a hero or a real hero and stop pretending to be one. I love this. I love this little chat. I think probably this is the best part of the episode. How we saw the personality of Saitama. That he actually represents a good hero. Even though he is the strongest man alive, even though he is completely invincible, that there is nothing that come close to him. I don't know if Bang is as powerful as him. I highly doubt it. And for those who don't know, Bang is the number one hero in the S1 hero ranking, so he's the most powerful. But we haven't seen anything from him. Not even in the manga, not in the web comics. So yeah, we don't know anything about him. Anyway. So, I love this aspect of Saitama, that he offered the chance to King to say, okay, you can decide if you want to keep this facade or you want to tell the truth. So, yeah, the only condition is in here that, yeah, he will come and play games from time to time. And I love how that King in the end said, oh, yeah, sure, is still shocked. Because anybody else would say, oh, no, you must tell them that I was the strongest one. That I was the one who is behind your strength. I love it, and yes, it's the shock in King's face. Anyway, we go to another calm scene in which Genos, which looks pretty cool, a pretty cool scene. Genos asks the professor to improve him, thanks to the parts of the robot that he just destroyed. And of course, we have a kind of sentimental talk that, yeah, he's still angry against the robot that annihilated his village. And he wants revenge. Again, I think I know who it is. Because again, it hasn't been revealed so far in the manga either. So we don't know who destroyed this village. I have obviously some clues. In this case was given in the... I don't know if it was the 12th or the 11th episode of the last season. That say that actually it was... Oh god, I forgot his name. The robot that didn't destroy the meteor. I'm gonna put an annotation here. I can't believe I forgot his name. Anyway, we saw this chat, and of course the professor is worried for Genos because he doesn't want him to go overboard as he tends to do, and especially with the ridiculous goals that his mentor is putting on him. And yes, those are ridiculous because we know that Saitama had no idea what to tell him, and he just said the first thing that came to his mind. So... yeah, it kind of makes sense. Anyway, the next scene we saw, of course, part of the association that are recruiting everybody into their association because they need a lot of heroes thanks to the prophecy that was given to us in episode 9 of the last season that a terrible danger is going to happen. No, episode 10, sorry. And they don't care about the criminal records of these possible heroes. They just want people, they just want bodies to fill their quota, and they spread out and they start to solve the problem for them. And we saw, of course, one of our heroes, well, not one of the possible heroes, obviously, is Sonic, that actually didn't care about that. He just wants to go there because Saitama was supposed to be there. He just wants to defeat Saitama. But once he figured out that he wasn't there, she just said, oh, I don't care about this one. So yeah, he just went away and didn't care about that. Actually, he just took this opportunity to investigate a little bit of the HQ of the Hero Association. The rest are, well, almost all the rest are low-ranking criminals that really are not worth mentioning, at least not in this moment. We have 3 A-class heroes, pretty high-ranking A-class heroes that, in case it came out of control, they're going to be deal with the situation. Anyway, that is not the important part of the episode. We saw another character that I wanted to see from last season, Fubuki. And yes, we know nothing so far other than she used psychic powers. Um, but yeah, we saw Fubuki finally in this season. And yes, I love the voice that they use for her. And we know that they are going after Saitama. Because yeah, this is not a spoiler. It was said by Fubuki, and of course, it was said by Sonic. And I love this just juxtaposition of image that there are two powerful powerful beings against, or trying to go against Saitama, trying to do something to Saitama. Again, I'm not going to say anything about Fubuki. I know her intentions, but I'm not going to say anything. And yes, I love that imagery. But of course, that is not the last scene of the episode. We saw again Saitama and King, but this time they are both playing a game. And in the end, because King is so good at playing games, of course Saitama is kind of, even if it's a co-op, King is grabbing everything, of course leaving Saitama with nothing, and he's kind of angry for this and break the freaking control. That is the last scene of the episode. Well, no, actually, we saw another character in the end. I'm not going to say his name. I don't think they mentioned him by name in the last scene, but we saw somebody else. That guy is important. And yes, I was so happy, and I love the voice they gave him. It was kind of what I imagined with him. Not so deep, but not so high pitch. So yes, I love that appearance of this last character. Now, let's speak a little bit about the episode. The animation. I think the first episode of the first season has better animation than this one. Or at least it has an excuse to have good animation. The first episode of the first season has the fights between, well, the dream fight of Saitama against the underground people. And it was genuinely spectacular. The first time I saw it, it was just outstanding. This one, though, is not as good. But as we saw, we only have one fight in the whole episode. We only saw one fight. The robot against Genos. And that's it. That fight has to be spread out in the whole episode. So yes, and this is pretty much almost bit by bit like the manga. It's pretty similar. Yeah, I don't remember that well if we saw the punch against the crow. I think we did, and this is something that was missing from the animation if it was the case. But yeah, it's not. The animation, at least for me, is not that good. It's not as good as the first episode of the first season. I don't know because it's a different production company or because it is there is no correct excuse to set animation. I will be patient and wait for the second one because yeah, there is something cool coming on in the second episode, and I'm going to hold my judgment for the animation until I see that. Because let's remember, a fight against Saitama, it's pretty hard to say that it's spectacular. The only one that is like that, even in the manga, is the Borus fight against Lord Borus. And yes, that was outstanding. That was completely incredible. The fight against Lord Borus was just beautifully done. But yeah, it's weird for us because yeah, Saitama is so powerful that there is really no point of giving him good animation because it's going to resolve everything with one punch. So yeah, again, I'm going to hold my judgment for the animation until the second episode. So far, I like it. I think still the first season so far, and yes, it's not so much, it's still better. Now, the characters I was interested in was King and Fubuki. Those are the characters I wanted to see the most in this next season. The other one is, well, I'm not gonna say it again because yeah, I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but there is another character that I want to see too. yeah, there was. I was satisfied how they handled the characters. At least how they handle King. I really like the way they draw him. I like the way they select the voice for him because he's perfect for the silly moments and perfect for the serious moments. So yes, I really like it. Fubuki, I love the design, but I haven't seen much of her. I hopefully going to see in the next episode. I think it is, if it's what I remember, we're going to see a lot more from her. But yeah, I like those aspects. Now, the opening in the archive, in the video, in the thing I have, I didn't saw an opening. I did a little bit of research, and the last bit when they put the credits, it is actually the opening. I don't know if they decided to put it like this, so we can go straight to the action. I would love to see the opening in the middle, of course. But anyway, and yes, that is supposed to be the opening, the last bit with the credits. And I must say, I prefer the opening of the first season better. The first season opening is just a marvelous thing. The action, the song, everything about the first opening was so epic, so amazing, so fitting for the character that is Saitama, that it was pretty hard for anything to surpass it. So yeah, it was a tough task for the new opening. I don't think it's that bad. I have seen some commenters that it's terrible. I don't think it's that bad, but it's not in the same level as the first opening. That is for certain. So yeah, there are a couple of negative things in this episode, as I said before, the animation, but I'm holding that back because I want to give it a chance. And the opening, something that, yes, of course, is not so much negative, it's more so that the first season put such high standards that, yes, this second season has a tough task to surpass. Anyway, yeah, I think I exhausted the topic of this episode. A pretty good one. Again, the standards for this are way too high. So yeah, I'm holding back a little bit because I want to give it a chance. Because it's One Punch Man. But anyway, yeah, as I said before, that's it for now, guys. Thank you for your attention, and well, see you on the next one. Bye. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that video, and yes, thank you so much for your attention, guys. And as always, if you want to leave a comment, that will help me a lot more. If you want to give me a like, that will help me even more to get on the top of the recommendation for YouTube. And if you want to share this video, that will help me even more. So yeah, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, guys, for your attention. I hope you enjoyed the video, and yeah, see you in the next one. Bye.